Welcome, curious minds, to the deep dive. Today, we're not just uh, flipping through the playbook of Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. No, we're trying to crack open their skulls, metaphorically speaking, of course.
Right. We're diving deep into how these guys actually thought. You've given us this mountain of material, their wisdom, their brutal honesty, even their, let's face it, their fuck-ups.
And our mission today,
Yeah.
cut through all the usual financial bullshit, pull out the core principles, and really help you get the why behind their genius. This isn't Stock Tips 101.
No, it's about understanding a mindset that led to, well, what our sources basically call one of the greatest wealth creations in human history.
Think of it like the Cliff Notes for the University of Berkshire Hathaway,
Yeah.
but, with more swearing and fewer pie charts. We've got notes from decades of their annual meetings, their thoughts on everything.
Yeah, everything from like complex finance stuff to just basic human nature. So buckle up. This is the direct, no-nonsense truth coming your way.
So let's get into how these guys actually learned their craft.
Yeah.
It wasn't exactly smooth sailing from day one, was it?
Oh, God, no, not at all. Our source paints this picture. Daniel Picott, one of the authors we're drawing from. Imagine spending a whole year, like, really sweating bullets over an options trading strategy,
Yeah.
only to figure out your hourly wage worked out to, like, 10 damn cents.
Ouch. That's going to hurt. Talk about a brutal education. Most people would just, pack it in.
Exactly. And then there's Picott's partner, Corey. His introduction to Berkshire, it's almost comical, really. He was an auditor, gets this call from a headhunter in Omaha, interested in a job at Berkshire Hathaway.
Right.
Corey just goes, Berkshire who? The guy says, Warren Buffett's company. And Corey's like, Warren who?
Seriously?
Yeah.
He had no idea.
None. This wasn't some, sacred temple where everyone knew the legends. Corey actually ended up working one of the early annual meetings, checking tickets, and accidentally stopped Warren and Susie Buffett from walking into their own meeting because he didn't recognize them.
Oh, my God. Mortifying.
Totally mortified, the source says. It just shows. They weren't operating in that typical Wall Street bubble.
Right. And Picott, the philosophy major from Harvard, takes one economics course and finds it too, theoretical?
Yeah, basically useless for the real world. Their education was grounded in, like, family business, hard knocks, practical reality, not textbooks.
You just can't get that from an MBA, can you?
Absolutely not. And that whole experience became what they kind of jokingly called the University of Berkshire Hathaway.
Right, right.
It wasn't lectures. It was just soaking up wisdom from annual reports, shareholder meetings, really listening, building this mental database. Our source reckons it easily rivals most MBA programs. Probably better, honestly. Less fluff.
And you can't argue with the results, can you? I mean, the track record is just insane. Buffett's partnership, what was it, 10 grand at 200K in 13 years?
Yep, averaging almost 26% a year. And get this, no down years. Even when the market itself was getting hammered 6 times in that period.
That's just mind-bending. And Munger.
Munger's partnership, Wheeler Munger, pulled in over 24% annually. It's not just good, it's freakishly consistent. There has to be some secret sauce there, right? Well, a huge part of it starts with this moat idea. Like a castle moat.
Yeah, it keeps the bad guys out.
Exactly. For them, a moat is a durable competitive advantage, something that protects a company's profits from competitors over the long haul. It's often about those intangible things, stuff you can't easily point to on a balance sheet.
So it's not just finding a decent company, it's finding one that's built like a fortress. And they're looking for that sweet spot, a company getting intrinsically more valuable while its stock price is maybe even falling.
That's the dream scenario, yeah. Finding that diamond that's actually growing while the mine's on sale. And a huge piece of Berkshire's own fortress. It's how they used the float, mostly from insurance.
Ah, the float. Explain that again, simply.
Okay, so insurance companies collect premiums up front, right? But they don't pay out claims right away. That money they hold in the meantime. That's the float. It's like this pool of capital they get to invest for their own benefit before claims come due.
Okay, got it. Basically free money to play with if you manage it right.
Pretty much. Munger nailed it. Just brutally direct. If you generate a float at 3% per annum and buy with the proceeds, companies that bring 13%, you are in a very good position. It's a multiplier effect.
And the Geico story is the perfect example, isn't it? Company was struggling, stock was down.
Yeah, mid-70s Geico was in trouble. But Buffett saw the potential in their direct model, trusted the CEO, Jack Barr, and just started buying mountains of Geico stock. Then after Berkshire bought the whole thing in 96, boom.
They poured money into advertising, right? More than everyone else combined?
Exactly. They absolutely carpet bombed the airwaves, secured that top spot in people's minds, built an unshakable moat.
And that conviction held even with tricky acquisitions, like General Re. That was a huge deal, $22 billion.
Huge. And it had initial losses. But our source says Buffett would have done the deal even if he knew about those losses. Why?
The float potential.
The long-term float potential. That's the long game right there. Ignoring the short-term pain for the massive long-term gain.
So what kinds of businesses have these killer moats, these favored fortresses?
Consumer brands are huge. Think Coca-Cola. Buffett just marvels at how Coke lives inside like 6 billion heads.
Even the container is easy to identify. It's
What?
just everywhere, mentally.
Right. He thinks it's a great business and will continue to be. The point isn't just buy Coke. It's find businesses that own that kind of mental real estate.
Like See's Candy, the ultimate simple example. They could raise prices just a little bit.
10 cents a pound. And nobody blinked. That's unused pricing power because people just love C's. That loyalty turned a $23 million buy into over $1 billion in pre-tax profit. Just incredible.
Wish there were more like that, huh?
Yeah, Munger basically said, it's a shame there simply aren't enough companies like See's Candy to buy. Then you've got Amex, Wrigley's, Mars. Same idea. Deep brand loyalty creating an economic barrier.
Okay, so brands are one big category. But
Yeah.
they look beyond that too, right? To the really fundamental stuff.
Oh, yeah. Utilities, infrastructure, Mid-American Energy, Burlington Northern Railroad. These are essential, massive businesses. Buffett said about Mid-American, we are not dealing with small herbs here. Big stakes.
Railroads, kind of boring, but essential.
Totally essential. And revolutionized. Trains twice as long, twice as heavy as 50 years ago. It's a capital-intensive game very few can play. Plus, these regulated utilities offer, decent profits, and they're generally good for society. Stable, predictable.
And banks.
Yeah.
I seem to love banks, despite all the recent drama.
They do. Wells Fargo was a longtime favorite. Buffett called it fabulous, lowest cost deposits. Said he'd put all his money in it when it dipped below $9 once. And look at their holdings now. BOFA, U.S. Bancorp. They clearly see enduring value in well-run banks.
Then there's that niche manufacturing stuff, like Ice Car, Lubrizol.
Right. These are companies where the market's almost too small for major competitors to bother attacking. And in those niches, it's all about quality and reliability and not just price. Like precision cast parts, making aerospace parts, you cannot screw that up. Contracts run for years because customers trust them implicitly.
It feels like it all comes back to really understanding the nuts and bolts, the cost structure.
Absolutely. That's the core insight. Doesn't matter if it's raw materials, labor, capital. The key is to understand the costs and why it has a sustainable advantage. Can it win the race?
And the airline example is just brutal proof of that. U.S. Air versus Southwest.
12 cents a mile versus 8 cents a mile. Munger saw it on the board, his takeaway. Sooner or later, the business goes to the cheapest provider. If you can't be the low-cost leader in a commodity business like airlines, you're basically screwed.
Okay, we know what they like. Let's flip it. What absolutely drives them nuts? What do they just rage against? They are the ultimate contrarians.
Oh, yeah. Top of the list, Wall Street bullshit, basically. Take EBITDA.
Munger's favorite metric to hate.
Exactly. His line is legendary. If you read EBITDA, just think to yourself, bullshit earnings.
Why so harsh? It's used everywhere.
Because it's misleading. It ignores depreciation, which is a real expense, often a huge one. You paid for that machinery up front. Pretending it's not a cost just makes the number look prettier than they are. It's financial smoke and mirrors, pure bullshit in their view.
And derivatives. Buffett called them weapons of financial mass destruction.
He did, and like hell, you get in easily, but it's hard to get out. Munger, even more graphic, called the accounting for them a cesspool, said that was insulting to sewage.
Jeez, so what's the core danger?
It's the opacity, the hidden risk, how they concentrate massive leverage in just a few places, how they let people avoid putting up real margin. And Munger's GURF accounting good until reached for. Looks fine on paper, but try and actually get the value? Poof, gone. Remember Bear Stearns, $14.5 trillion in derivatives?
Trillion. It's terrifying. Just hiding catastrophic risk. What about stock options for CEOs?
Oh, Munger hated that. Hundreds of millions going to CEOs. He'd ask, does handing stock options to 60-year-old surgeons make them perform better? It's just a way to shovel money out the door, often totally disconnected from actual long-term value creation. He found it almost immoral.
And the efficient market hypothesis.
Yeah.
The idea that prices are always right.
Buffett just laughed at that. You know, teach students everything has its correct price and then ask, so what do I do for the rest of the hour? It's academic nonsense to them, ignoring basic human psychology that clearly drives markets crazy sometimes.
They definitely avoid the hype trains, the bubbles,
Right.
like the dot-com era.
Oh, yeah. Buffett said he'd fail students trying to value internet stocks. Munger's analogy was perfect, if disgusting. Mixing raisins with rabbit droppings doesn't make them not rabbit droppings anymore.
Ew. But accurate. A good idea mixed with crap is still crap.
Exactly. And ethanol. Munger called turning corn into fuel breathtakingly stupid. His logic was simple. You raise food prices so cars can drive around. It consumes almost as much fossil fuel as it produces. It made no economic sense, just political sense. They saw right through that garbage.
And real estate speculation before '08.
Saw it clear as day. The same idiots who day traded tech stocks just started flipping condos.
Yeah.
They knew a significant downward correction was coming. They just watched it happen like they knew the script.
It sounds like they get frustrated with the media, too, for not getting it.
Definitely. They felt the media often reported on them superficially, getting terms wrong, missing the nuance. Buffett apparently prefers electronic archives, so he can't be misquoted.
Yeah, that whole 5 things you miss clickbait thing.
Yeah.
It often misses the real story, like big portfolio shifts, focusing on noise.
Right. It's a short attention span world, and their kind of deep, long-term thinking just doesn't fit the news cycle. As they said, the wisdom just bounces off the modern culture sometimes, which leads perfectly into their actual strategy. This blend of incredible patience and then, bam, decisive action. Buffett loves the Ted Williams analogy.
The baseball player. Wait for the perfect pitch.
Exactly. Williams knew his batting average was way higher if he only swung at pitches in his sweet spot. Buffett's the same with investments. He only needed 1 or 2 good ideas a year. Wait for that fat pitch.
And they pounce when things get ugly, right?
Yeah.
Buffett's swimming naked line.
Classic Buffett. When the tide goes out, you see who's been swimming naked, and those swimming naked call Berkshire. Crisis is their opportunity. They have the cash, the reputation, and the guts to step in when everyone else is panicking.
We saw that in '08, '09, like the Harley-Davidson deal.
Oh, yeah. $300 million into Harley bonds in 2009, paying a crazy 15% coupon. Buffett joked he'd just not answer the letter when it matured, just keep collecting 15%.
And Goldman Sachs, GE. Billions in preferred stock, right in the depths of the crisis.
Made a fortune. Buffett calculated he was earning $15 every second, tick, tick while I sleep on the Goldman deal alone. Buying fear, selling greed. Textbook.
Even in weird corners like municipal bonds.
Yep. Bought $4 billion when everyone was freaking out, saw identical bonds trading at wildly different prices, pure irrational fear. Munger called it spear phishing. Wait, then strikes like lightning.
Like buying that pipeline from Dynergy
like
in 2 hours.
Insane speed. Failing company, complex asset. They did the deal in 2 hours, basically telling the regulators they'd figure out the details afterwards. That's conviction. That's seizing the moment when blood's in the streets. But they're honest about their misses, too, right? The pain of omission.
Oh, yeah. Buffett, kicking himself over Walmart, said not buying it cost shareholders $10 billion so far. And Munger's response. Just deadpan. Not the worst idea you've ever had. Brutal.
In Google, Munger straight up admitted we weren't smart enough to understand Google, even though their own company, Geico, was paying Google a fortune, like $10 a click.
Buffett admitted, I messed up. Takes guts to say that.
Munger thought Google was a bigger miss than Amazon, by the way. Called Bezos a member of another species. Just total honesty about their blind spots.
But through wins and losses, the long-term view is unshakable. Ignore the market noise.
Absolutely. The market is there to serve you, not to teach you. Focus on the business value. Sleep well at night. Don't let the daily stock quotes drive you crazy.
Like owning a farm. You care about the harvest, not the daily price someone offers for the land.
Perfect analogy. You wouldn't trade farms based on short-term fluctuations in agricultural product prices. Market's just some manic dealer shouting prices. Ignore him if he's being an idiot.
And they expect future crises.
Of course. Buffett says history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. He knows bad times will come again, but he has this incredible, deep faith in America's long-term resilience.
Pointing out how much better the standard of living is now versus, say, 1930.
6 times better, he noted. Despite wars, depressions, plagues, the underlying engine of ingenuity keeps driving forward. That's the bet they're making.
So it's clearly not just about the money or the moats.
Right.
The people, the culture. That seems incredibly important to them.
Hugely important. Buffett's rule for picking managers is so simple but profound. Does he love money or the business? If he loves the business, he fits well with Berkshire. Passion over paycheck.
And they trust those managers, right? Decentralized power.
Immense trust, but it's built on expecting high moral standards. They have to follow the law in word and deed. Corey, who worked there, told this story about Buffett insisting they pay Nebraska sales tax, even if maybe, possibly, they could found a loophole. Zero tolerance for ethical corner cutting.
And Munger on restructuring costs. That quote is legendary.
Oh, it's classic Munger. Someone asks us about restructuring and he just shoots back, would you kill your mother to get the insurance money? Berkshire has never had restructuring costs and will not start, because to them, restructuring just means management screwed up somewhere along the line and they don't pay for screw-ups.
Munger's whole philosophy is just gold. Pure, unfiltered gold. Like his take on envy.
The worst of the 7 deadly sins. Why? Buffett explains. It's the only one that makes you feel bad and the other person feels nothing. Gluttony at least has temporary benefits, and as for lust, I'll leave that topic to Charlie. It's just self-destructive. Envy, pointless.
And Munger's law. State the advantages if you state the disadvantages.
Brilliant. Always demanding balance. See both sides. Don't just cherry-pick the negatives. And his life motto, just pragmatism.
Do something that suits your temperament, do what works, and do it continuously. Repeat what works. Simple, but damn effective.
And they live it. Lifelong learners. Munger saying Warren gets better with age. Munger himself at 92 saying, I still have plenty of ignorance to work on. They just read constantly. Books, reports, newspapers, obsessed with learning.
Buffett always advises investing in yourself, right? Like learning public speaking, which terrified him.
Terrified him. He signed up for Dale Carnegie, wrote a check, then stopped payment because he was too scared, went back, did it, and said it was one of the best investments he ever made. It's about pushing your own boundaries. He even joked about looking for the perfect woman, only to find she was looking for the perfect man. Find the right partners, improve yourself, and ultimately it's about more than money, legacy, happiness. Buffett's pledge not to die in a beer barrel, meaning not go out broke or disgraced.
They both agree money doesn't buy happiness or friendship. Buffett knew rich guys with buildings named after them, but nobody actually loved them. What's the point?
Exactly. And their chosen epitaphs say it all. Buffett wants to be remembered as teacher.
Munger, rightly gained, wisely used, and that perfect kicker.
I've never seen such an old corpse. Gotta love Munger's dark humor.
Okay, so that was our deep dive. The raw, unfiltered wisdom of Buffett and Munger. You've heard how their focus on value, their hatred of financial bullshit, their insane patience, how it all forged this unbelievable wealth machine.
Yeah, it's about really understanding the game, knowing when to swing that bat, and just as importantly, knowing when to keep your goddamn powder dry and just wait.
So think about those core principles, how they navigated decades of market madness, and then chew on this. Munger often warned that a great civilization carries within itself a good deal of ruin. What bullshit do you see building up right now, and what core, brutally honest principles might actually protect you when things eventually go sideways? Something to think about.